Hey, what's up, Don? Tony from LearnAutoBodyAndPaint.com. Just got your video, enjoyed watching it, and it's hard to do these when you're not there. You know, if I was there in your garage, I can be like, all right, this is exactly how we do it. But I do have my truck here that I just bought, 2017 Tacoma, that I'll try to give you some examples on. All right, as well as by watching your video here. So hopefully the audio is okay. What I would do here, you mentioned two-tone in the very beginning, so I'm not sure if you want to two-tone this, like put another color in here, okay, or keep the same color. Regardless, you're going to be painting it. So what I would do is, we don't want to mess with the top section here. We don't want to mess with that, right? We want to keep that as is. So, but it's okay for you to sand a little bit of it, okay? But we want to stay away from getting up too high. Right, what I would do is get 2000 grit, scuff up this whole area. You could even go with 15 down here, 15 all in this area, and then as you get closer, you could use a 2000 up in here and just hit it just a very little, because the key to blending is buffing, right? You could blend. Okay, so let's just get a little technical now. So say this piece was a damage, okay? And we needed to paint this. Say, just imagine this was primer, okay? We could blend base coat, right? Blend the base coat, okay? We're gonna try to not get to this line as much as possible because it matches here. And the key to blending is also tricking the eye, because you're never gonna get, well, you can get a perfect match, but it's very hard. But if you do a blend job good enough, I mean, that's the whole purpose, is to trick the eye, right? So we could blend this with our tangerine orange here, blend it, make it look good. Okay, that's one thing. Blending base is easy. Getting the base on and blending the base is easy, because all you're doing is dusting it, and then you're holding the gun farther apart and you're dusting it into the quarter panel. So it'll blend right in, even though the mixture isn't 100%, because the paint is mixed in another batch. You know, it will not be 100% perfect no matter what you do, right? So blending is easy, okay, and also clearing is easy, okay, because if we're gonna do this spot, we might as well clear the whole the whole side of the bed, right? So we're gonna make sure we sand it all down with probably 800 grit or so, right? And then dust it, and then clear the whole bed, clear the whole entire bed all the way. I would even clear over these decals if you like them. If you don't like the decals, you can pull them off, clear them, put a new decal on it, whatever you want to do, right? It's your truck, right? So that's easy. Clearing the whole panel is easy, but blending clear gets tricky, okay, when you have to blend clear, because you're going to end up blending out. You're going to be reducing it and melting it into the panel of your 1500 or 2000 grit, okay, either or. I would say 15, a little bit rougher so you can buff it. And that's where the trick comes in, because you're going to have to do a good buffing job to blend the clear coat in to the older clear coat, right? And it can be done. It just gets tricky, okay? So again, blending base and clearing the whole panel is easy. That's an easy blend job, okay? Like if we had a damage here, right? We do the body work, we blend it, we can extend it a little bit, blend it out, right? Blend it out, and then clear the two doors. That's easy, because you're clearing the entire thing. But when you're doing, hi Maya, when you're doing, let's see what we got here, where we're gonna be ending the clear coat, right? That's where it gets tricky, and this is where you're gonna have to buff. So again, I don't know if you're doing a two-tone color scheme or you're keeping it the same color. If you're keeping it the same color, I would blend it right underneath, right in here, so you can get your buffing wheel in here and just buff out right in here. Okay, so 2000 it, base coat this area. Make sure you tape along up in here so you don't get any overspray on your rear bed here. Okay, same thing down here, just tape up your bed so you don't get, and then you could just base it and clear it. And then in here, make sure it's 1500 grit. You could even go 2000, okay, both is safe. 15 to 2000. Blend it, and when you blend an area like this, okay, it's important to roll the tape. So here's what I mean by that. Okay, you never want to keep a straight crease when you're blending, so you always want to roll the tape. So you're gonna have to roll the tape like this, so when your clear hits it, and it has to be sanded, right? So when your clear hits it, it'll kind of melt in, You know what I mean? And then when you take it off, yeah, you're gonna have a line. You might have a little line here, but you're gonna be sanding out all of this probably with 1500 or 2000. So this way you could play with this, sand it lightly, and then buff it. Okay, but again, you're gonna want to do it inside. I don't have my bumper off to kind of show that to you, but that's what you want to do. Okay, so sand the whole thing. It's going to be hard to tape to do a roll tape in this area as well. So I would straight tape it around here. You might have a little line, but it's going to be underneath and you won't see it. Okay, you're going to have a line, but it's going to be underneath and you won't see it. And then if you're really nitpicky and you feel like you want to work with it, sand it lightly with 2000 grit, get it smooth. Don't overdo it. Okay, don't sand it till where it's super smooth. All right, where you can't feel the line. You're going to have a little line. Sand it just to get the rough edges off, and then get your buffer and work it little by little. The buffer will melt it in. Okay, so that's a tip there. What else were you talking about? Oh, you're talking about this piece here. Okay, so I've had issues like this on custom cars that I painted.
Spot right there, right below my.
I see it right here. Okay. You basically, I don't know, you might have buffed it and burned this area lightly. It changed the metallic pigments in there, and it buffed through. You buffed through a little too much. That's what you did. Okay. Unfortunately, it's very hard to fix something like that. You know, it's not hard. Okay, it's not hard, but to make it look professional and blend the bed like that, it's better off to sand this whole area. You don't have to prime it. You're fine just putting base over it. So you would just get 400 grit, and it doesn't have to be a new 400 grit. It could be an older one or maybe even use 600 grit, okay, because you're already down here. Sand the area, maybe even 600 the whole top, and this could be your first paint project. Paint the whole tonneau cover. You know what I mean? I mean, that's unfortunately, unless you want to trick the eye and put a pinstripe along it on the side of the truck. You could do a black vinyl pinstripe right over it. You would probably hide it. Okay, I am making a video for VIP right now doing a pinstripe on this truck. I mean, look at the orange peel on here. This is a brand new truck. And it's orange peeled. Of course, I'm not going to screw with it. I'm not going to paint it. It's brand new. Maybe in 10 years or 5 years or so, if I feel like repainting the whole thing, I'll do it. But, you know, it's unfortunate. Some brand new cars look like that. And I compared it with the other ones on the lot, and same thing. And they only had 2 orange ones, and I wanted an orange one. Anyway, you could hide something like that with a pinstripe. Okay, all I'm using is Pro Stripe. Okay, it's a good way to hide it. Listen, I just went to SEMA, the car show in Vegas in November last year, and I'm telling you, you look at every show car, there is something that they're hiding, okay? Or nothing's perfect 100%. Maybe you'll find 1 or 2 perfect cars, but again, if they screwed up, they probably repainted the whole panel, you know, to get that perfection. Because you're we are all humans. We're all going to screw up at some point, right? Maybe they were buffing a corner out and they hit it, and they're like, oh shit, they could have redid it and kind of tricked the eye, but they said, screw it, let's do it right and repaint the whole fender, right? So if you want to do it right and have no blend mark or clear blend mark, you're going to have to clear the whole thing. You could just base this spot super easy, base it out and clear the whole thing. And again, when doing blend jobs, you don't want to put a lot of heavy base on it. Just do it lightly, because the more paint you put on it, the more chances of it not matching the adjacent body panel. Get it? Okay, so the next question, same thing here on the front fender.
This mark right here.
It looks like your front fender is sanded out, right? It looks like you sanded it with 2000 grit or something. So, and then you cut through to the base coat. So you cut some of your base coat out here. So with this, I would do the same thing as the back. You're already sanded with 2000. Okay. You could even go down to 15. It's not going to hurt it. Buy a pint of base coat. You can go with the shop line. I would get a Deltron. Get a good base coat. Okay. A DuPont or a shop line base coat. And then you're going to want to base this area. So I'm going to show you an example on my truck on how I would do that really quickly. Okay, so it looks like you did sand this whole whole body panel here, the whole fender. Okay, and you're concerned about blending into the hood. So let's talk about that. Okay. So let's say this panel, same thing. All right, I screwed up buffing right over here, and I got a bleed mark. Send it through my base coat right here. It looks like shit. Right. So what I want to do is order some paint. Make sure you get a good paint, or go to the paint shop and say, hey, if you take your truck down there and you get the paint lady or the paint guy to go and match it up, they'll do a really good job. They matched up my BMW paint, and it looks really good. Really good. I didn't even buff this door out yet. This is new paint. Okay, I didn't even buff the door out, and I based the whole hood. Really close. Really, really super. You can't even tell. Right? I didn't even paint this. She actually used this piece to match it. And look how close. Super, super close. And this is actually where she put the drop of paint. I didn't even take it off yet. Right in there. Okay, to match it. So you have the whole thing prepared already. I would order some base. When you base it, I would use a minigun. Warwick 878 SHE or whatever you want to get. It doesn't matter what minigun. But you want to get a minigun and dust the area very, very small, low pressure. And when you dust the paint gun, you want to push it halfway, not even halfway, and you want to have more air coming out than paint. And then you want to just hit that spot. Okay, once you cover that not the bare metal, but the section where you rubbed off the metallic, right? Then you just want to wide open fan it. Once you're done covering, wide open fan it and just dust it. Just this area. Okay, you might want to step back and just dust the fender. Just dust it and then clear it. You should be good. I wouldn't worry about matching with here. The main thing is you don't want to lay heavy paint right on the edge. Okay, if you lay heavy paint right on the edge and you don't paint your hood, then you're going to see a color difference, especially with silver. Especially with silvers. Silvers is the toughest color to match and sometimes a tough color to paint. Okay, even with a dark silver. You also mentioned the quality of paint that you should use. I think a shop line will be perfect. It could be buffed out. It's a good mid-grade clear. You don't have to spend a fortune on it. And I think that's way enough. If you want to spend the extra bucks, then go ahead and get you can go ahead and get House of Color clear, or a top of the line Deltron PPG clear. Okay, that's just top of the line. You're paying about $100 more a gallon, maybe a little bit more. As far as stone chips, after your hood is painted or after you do your touch up and you're all good, you think your front of the truck looks nice. Take a look at getting a clear bra installed for stone chips. Okay, this one they put it on as a bonus for me. You could see that it has a clear plastic bra on. Okay, you see it right there. I just zoomed in. Okay, it basically helps rock chips. It makes it bounce off instead of chipping your paint. All right, to a certain extent, right, depending on how big the rock is. But they installed this clear bra on the front of my hood, not on this piece. This is plastic, believe it or not. And they did the part of the fender, just the tip of the fender. They didn't do the lights. So think about that. You might want to go and have a professional guy install a clear bra for you. I've never installed the stuff. I think if I had some, I could do it no problem, because they sell them to fit the piece of your body panel for your truck. And they also did a part of my mirror here. It's actually on my mirror. If you could see it right in here, you could see that they installed some of that clear bra for stone chips. So that might help you. All right, so check that out. I think we have one more question. Let's double check right here. You talked about that. You talked about your paint job on your double cab. I would just buff that out. What else were you talking about? 6 minutes in.
So I had the whole front clip painted. So I'm kind of surprised at this that I burned through. Would I like to put more clear coats on this truck? Yeah, I'd like to actually go, 3, 4, depending upon.
And you could do that. You could put more clear if you want to. I think your compressor is great.
In the corner. It's a 60-gallon single stage.
The only thing I would have done is actually put all of this a little farther from the compressor, because you're so close to everything here, and this area is going to get very hot. These pipes are going to be hot. And I don't know if I would have came up and around. I would have tilted this down. I would have came down with it, because water, you don't want water. Water is going to be getting trapped in here. And it's going to be going back in the tank. So I would drain your tank out often. And this whole piece should have been away from the tank at least 5 to 7 feet away at least. But this might work. Just do it. See how it works out for you. Okay. If you're having water problems, I don't know, because I don't think the water is going to actually come all the way up. And tell me what happens. It's a different style of setup that I've seen, but it might work for you. But it looks nice. The compressor is more than enough for you. I like the way they did this. I never thought about painting these little rain guards. We talked about your clears. I talked about your stone chips. I think you can paint your car yourself. I really think you can. Your shop looks awesome. Okay. Okay. So now you're talking about painting in cold weather. I knew I had to address one more question. Okay, let's see if I get my autofocus to work. Why is it like that? Okay, so right now I'm in Texas. It's about 50 something degrees. Why is the lighting so bad? All right, it's about 50 something degrees. I would not paint until it gets warmer on your end, because if you're painting in 50, it's, even if you use a fast reducer, you got to remember, the hotter it is, the slower reducer you want to use. The colder it is, the faster reducer you want to use. But I just in general don't like using a fast reducer unless you're doing a touch-up job. So if you're doing small areas, a fast reducer is fine. Okay, so if you're going to be doing your little paint job on the back, you could use a fast activator and fast reducer in colder weather for your paint job. I would say don't paint less than 60 degree weather. Okay, you want to stay at least 60, and at 60 degrees, I would use a fast hardener and reducer for your touch-ups. For complete paint jobs, I would always stick with medium, because you're doing a complete large car. Okay, you never want to do fast with a complete. You always want to do slow or medium with a complete paint job, especially if it's hot out. If you're painting around, 90 degrees.